We have a very completely unusual situation. We have had many infectious agents appear, new agents over the last 30 years. Some have become 30 to 40 years. Some have become very established, such as HIV. There was no HIV that we knew about before the 1980s. There was hepatitis C, which became endemic, right? And many, many, many others. But the majority of this kind of respiratory pandemic, such as this is actually our third outbreak this century. We've had SARS, which is a related respiratory pathogen, MERS, another related coronavirus respiratory pathogen, and now SARS-CoV-2. The others, and the vast majority of the other somewhat close to 50 different pathogens that have appeared, mostly die out on their own. This one, in just less than 6 months, has set us all to our homes, impacted globally, raced around the world, infects diverse populations, has consequences seriously for many, many populations. And so what we're dealing with, number one, I say the number one challenge is the speed and the spread of this particular respiratory infection. The second is that it is a respiratory infection, which means by us talking and breathing on each other, we can spread it, which is an enormous challenge that's much greater than hepatitis C, at least for control and public health measures, and HIV even. And so we need to come up with risk strategies to mitigate that. And so if you want to develop a vaccine in just a few months, which was moved to the clinic, as you mentioned, there are 23 advancing the clinic in just 6 months. That is globally unheard of. We've never done that. But we're doing that at risk, right? Because we're just developing, learning about infection. Every day in the newspaper or in scientific journals, we hear, well, antibodies do this, which is one of the arms of the immune system, or T cells do this, the other arm that clears infection. And so we're really building the plane to fight this pathogen. I stole that from Dan, by the way. As we're trying to take off from the ground. So those are some of the high-level challenges. At the end of the day, I think we're going to, if we had more time, we might look at this very differently, but we don't have more time.
Yeah, that's okay. I think I stole that phrase from somebody else anyway about flying an airplane while building it. But I think that was where I was going to go with this answer was that, when we realized that this was a problem we had to try to solve, we had to build a lot of the reagents, a lot of the assays that didn't exist. We didn't know about them. We didn't know what assays to make, what was validated, and that's what we spent a lot of our initial time on. Whereas all the other viruses that Dave talked about, like HIV, there's a lot known about that, and developing a vaccine, there's straightforward assays that you can run. Whereas this, we had to develop the assays on the fly, which was a big challenge for us, I think.